Life magazine shared the story of that sinking ship 65 years ago.
Yeah, an image of its unlucky passengers made the cover of volume 33, number 12, back on September 22nd, 1952. And at the time, Laurel, this was a pretty big deal. Can you first off start by telling us about the ship itself?
The Canadian Pacific passenger ship was the predecessor of the Princess Patricia, which was the first love boat for the Princess Cruise Line. Her maritime career in the mid-20th century, except for the World War, of course, was spent plying the waters of British Columbia, Alaska, and Washington State.
That is until September 7th, 1952. What happened?
Well, on the last cruise of the Alaska season, the ship ran into heavy squalls and high winds. The heavy tides and the winds just pushed it closer to shore. And so Officer Charles Savage grabbed his binoculars and he ran up onto the bridge to see if he could find any navigational lights. Well, at the same time, the lookout screamed out, "Land!" But the rest of the message was unintelligible because it was coming through the intercom system. So the mate ran up to see what the lookout had spotted, and he too saw land, but he thought it was far enough away that it wasn't posing a danger.
Well, turns out it wasn't, and eventually that ship runs aground.
At 2:58 a.m., the Princess Kathleen ran into Lena Point, which is about 14 miles northwest of Juneau. The crew then called the Coast Guard. They sent out an SOS, but they sent it on the wrong frequency, so the Coast Guard didn't get the message for a full 2 hours. They didn't know there was a Canadian ship grounded. So around 5:30, Savage ordered the life jacket-clad passengers to abandon ship.
Stranded, so some of them thought. What did the passengers do?
Well, they built campfires to keep themselves warm, and historians later said the passengers actually were quite calm. They thought they were on an island, but they soon learned that was not the case, as they had to hack their way 1.5 miles through dense forest to get to the road so that buses could carry them into Juneau. And then the Coast Guard arrived around 5:30 in the morning and started getting all the rest of the passengers off. And by 9 a.m., all 307 passengers were safe and sound on shore.
And good thing they made quick time, because that ship would eventually sink.
It did indeed, and today people love it because they go out deep sea diving and go down and dive and look over the ship, so it's quite an attraction outside of Juneau.